Everybody, we are live.
For the first time today.
We're live for TPK Thursday, and we are here with part 2 of Brindlewood. I said Brindlewood instead of Brindlewood Bay. Okay, everything's going great, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to hand it over to our keeper, Jason.
Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so we are going to continue our mystery, Dad Overboard. Let's go through really quickly and just reintroduce our Mavens, going left to right. Leanna Leaf.
This is me, Leanna. I'm an ex-cultist member who is now caught up in the many problems with my best friends in the whole world. I love reading murder mysteries, and this is what I love the most. And painting is my passion.
Fantastic. Dr. Kure Dakota.
Hello, everybody. I have taken on Liana's accent for some reason, but hello, I am Dr. Dakota. I am here to provide you with my fantastic medical services if you need so. I just might need a little bit of your support on the supplies and the things. But nice to meet you. Would you like to play a card game?
Fantastic. And Lady Violet Pink.
Hello, my name is Lady Violet Pink, and I have a lot of contacts, and I'm a rich old lady who is spending her money in charities and trying to solve some crime at the same time. And yeah, I am getting old. And I know the author of the Golden Crown Mysteries. So yeah, I'm amazing. Thank you.
Fantastic. And Nandini.
Namaskara, I'm Nandini, and I'm the official spokesperson for Shikakai. You have to try Shikakai. It is good for you, good for your hair, good for your eyesight, good for your bones. It is good for you in general. Internet problems and all, if you have, you can rub it on your router. Maybe it will work. But no proof, no scientific evidence. It is the original superfood. Have Shikakai. That's it from me.
Fantastic. Okay, so Dad Overboard. We currently are so in the mystery, financier Albert Krauss turned up in the bay dead. He was fished out of the bay. The family thinks he must have gotten drunk the night before and fallen overboard, but Sheriff Dalrymple suspects foul play. The sheriff has asked you all to help him find enough evidence to justify keeping the body in Brindlewood Bay so they can pursue a deeper investigation. But of course, you're going to solve the mystery entirely if given the chance. Right now, the body is being stored at the fish market, which is where 2 of our characters are. We'll pick up with them in a bit. The other 2 characters are on the Regal Lady, which is the Krause family yacht. You should have marked new end of session questions if you wish. You don't have to, but you have that option. And as we kick off here, you currently have 5 clues, which is a pretty good amount on a complexity 6. I'll review those. Well, we can review them when we get ready to actually answer the question, but for now, that's sort of where things stand. And so let's begin, as we always do, with a opening credits montage, our cozy vignettes with the Mavens enjoying their lives in Brindlewood Bay, and no doubt waving at someone off camera in the middle distance as they welcome you to our show. So whoever wants to narrate first, go for it.
So, Nandini, the only way her morning starts is with a cup of coffee. But this is no regular coffee. This is South Indian coffee. So it will be soaked overnight to form a concoction, and then hot scalding milk will be poured over it from all the height that she can manage, and then again, creating waterfalls full of coffee. And as the camera pans a little behind, you see where the coffee cups are, there is one more cup which is kept there upside down. And as the camera pans a little further back, a telephone enters the frame and it rings once and it ends there.
Lovely. And from there, the ringing, you see Dr. Dakota hunched over her patient on a hospital bed as she operates. You see that the mask that she wears has lipstick drawn over into like a sort of cunning smile. And as she laughs and her nurses rush towards her side, the scene changes as now you see young Timmy, her latest cadet in the gambling army, lying on what seems to be a sacrificial dining table, the same figure of Dr. Greha and her nurses now taking on a darker, shadowy form as they descend on young Timmy to put a meal in their tummy.
And then like that scene shifts and like it almost like morphs into this book that says nurse or murderer, and like the hand it slowly pans up and like the hand shows and you can see Liana like lying in bed, like her eyes completely closed but like her hand still furiously drawing something onto like this art book, and it's nice and shadowy figures that are present but like also like happy landscapes here and there.
And then you see Lady Violet is sitting in her garden, and you can see there is this one area where there are some pink roses, and she's looking at them. And she's remembering the memory of Lord Henry of Pinksburg, who gave her that flower during her anniversary. And that was the last day she saw him alive. And then she takes one of the flower and plucks it and put it in her black book and close it.
Fantastic. Let's pick up at the fish market. Liana, when we last saw you, a shadowy figure using a voice disguiser was essentially threatening you, saying, stop pursuing, that Albert Krause had to die. And you basically told them to, get lost. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Dakota, you were sneaking around, or you were kind of looking for Liana, and I think what you see is you can see inside the window where the office is. It's dark, but you can see Liana in there, and you can see this shadowy figure, and you can see that the shadowy figure has a gun pointing at Liana. And so at this point, you might be able to act more decisively than Liana can right now. So what do you do?
I would like to use my Maven move. Which
Angus MacGyver.
Angus MacGyver. So, my dear murder Mavens, as I stand here looking at our companion, confronted by her shadowy past, what do I find around me?
Something that might help you improvise in this situation. Who has a thought?
I'm thinking like on the floor, like on the street floor, there's just like a large fishbowl, like very spiky and
Sharp, large fishbone.
How about a bunch of rope?
Okay.
The kind that people use to tie their boats onto the docks. So it's like raggedy, but it's thick and strong.
Got it.
And you see there is a very big flashlight that is like, basically they say it's like the sun, and it glares so hard that people have to do this.
Amazing.
I'm gonna say there's a can of gasoline.
Oh.
Okay.
So if you can come up with a plan that uses one or more of these items in order to help in the situation, you get to roll advantage on what will probably be the night move in order to save Leanna. I would probably invoke your condition, which is uneasy. That might affect your reaction times and your feelings right now. But if you can use the MacGyver move, then that would balance it out. So you'd be rolling regular dice. So what do you think?
Got it. So
what's your plan?
So let's see. First, I'm going to take the fishbone and latch it under where the lock would be for the window. I'm going to quickly just jimmy it in to get it a little loose so that the window cracks open a bit. And as soon as it does, I'm going to hoist up that rope that I have, pour a little bit of gasoline all over that rope, hold it steady in one hand, just hold the flashlight in the other, and essentially make a largest crashing motion as I jump in through the window, flash the light at this shadow, and say, "Darkness, be gone!" Okay, and throw this rope at it. Essentially, like, try to whip it with this gasoline-drenched rope. And oh god, I hope that Mrs. Leaf has some fire in her, because I don't.
All right, I'm into it. This is going to be with vitality, and it's the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
So I don't know what this thing is. I think the first thing, as a doctor, I'm thinking of various things. First, I'm thinking of the shards of glass sticking out of my arm as I burst through the window and just push my body away so I don't land on any side to force them any deeper. When I throw the rope, my first fear is that the thing I'm trying to strike is not solid. And if I were not to handle that rope properly, I might end up hitting Miss Leaf instead. The third is possible suffocation if we start a fire in here. And already the smell of fish is horrendous, but add a bit of fire to it. I look at the window and think that's one way that we're getting air out, but that's just letting in more oxygen. So maybe I didn't think through the fire.
So, I mean, to be clear, are you trying to set a fire, or are you just like
right now I'm just
to scare this person?
Yeah, I'm just trying to scare them with the smell of gasoline.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay, well that's all would be a very catastrophic outcome. I have to say how it's worse than that. It's worse than that because a fire will start, Leanna will be endangered, and you will be no help because you will have miscalculated your jump and have essentially, I think you will essentially have landed on a shard of glass by your neck. So
that's a vitality.
Yes, it's going to be vitality. 2d6 plus vitality.
Could could I use reason for it instead, having had a moment?
Oh, because of using the like you're kind of like using intelligence to like kind of to
Because
trick him.
I just took a couple of items from around my environment as well.
I'm gonna say composure because I think it's kind of like a wild idea, and you're acting very like in spur of the moment. So I'm gonna say I think composure is a good middle ground here.
That's awesome because it was between a 0 and a 2, so 1 was. Okay.
Go ahead and roll 2d6 with composure.
Let's see this. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a 5, a 6, and a 3.
Oh, okay. So wait. What were your dice? So 6 and a 5 plus 1 is, or no, you're just rolling 2d6. It's just 2d6 plus 1.
Oh, 2d6. So that's a 5 and a 6.
Okay, and then so that's 11 plus 1 is 12. So that's a great result. You have full control of the scene. Per the rules, you're not allowed to see the identity of this shadowy attacker. You cannot see who they are, but you can chase them away or whatever. So go ahead and just describe how you save Liana. What does this look like?
Oh, so as Liana stands there, holding on to her little amulet, and just I can think of what's going through her mind right now because having spent so much time with her, I know that anytime she views a scene, it's more than just looking at something. It's trying to understand it, remember it, so that she can capture it in a painting later. And even in this moment, even though she is absolutely terrified, I see the fascination in her eyes as she looks at her worst nightmare come to life in front of her, and all she wants to do is not let this escape, find a way to capture it in a painting somehow. And as she stands there, just trapped in this visage of horror, Dr. Kure comes in full anime style, crashing through the window. You see as shards of glass just like fly overhead, and she leaps in, and you see as the darkness in front of Mrs. Leaf splits as this rope just cuts through. The shadowy figure turns around, almost evading it in like this sort of slithering snake-like fashion, as if like it's a whip challenging the elasticity of my rope itself. And as the rope lies down, dead to the world, you see the shadow just turns around to look at Dr. Kure, but in its curve, Mrs. Leaf is able to see some light as it enters through the broken window, and she sees this tall woman stand in front of her and say, "Darkness no more."
That was indeed a very anime rescue. Very good, very good. I think so since you got 12 plus, I owe you a bonus. And I think this like figure who was threatening Dr. Leaf, or Mrs. Leaf rather, it runs away, or they escape. They run off, but not before you notice something about them as they run off. And here I will give you a clue.
Oh.
You actually get a good look at the gun they were holding.
Oh.
The gun was surprisingly small and bejeweled, like a woman might keep in her purse.
Oh.
Like a little tiny purse gun. That's your clue. That you get as a bonus. And let's just have the scene with the two of you in the office, with this whole scene having happened and everyone catching their breath.
Mrs. Leaf, are you all right?
Miss Liana is like looking at you like for the first time, right? She has never really looked at you because she's terrified of you. And but Liana just looks at you and like she sees is this glowing figure. Like it's almost like burning white and like it's bright to Liana's eyes. And Liana looks at you and says, "By the shadowed moon and the crimson dawn, in the well of secrets our powers drawn." And I like go up and hug Kure and go like, "Is this good, Sitai? This is good. This is very good. Well done. Well done." Ah.
Yeah, who needs a fishmonger when you have a doctor? And like, it's just like sweeps her hair and walks away. Like, now, do you know who that was? I did see them carry a gun. A fancy gun at that.
I have no idea who they are. But I might know who they are.
Who?
This room. This is Etienne's room. That bastard must have done something.
Why?
That sexy bastard.
I'm catching the vibe here. Did something happen? Do we need to disinfect the place before we go on?
Of course not.
Okay.
The gasoline disinfected. It's fine.
Where
But
is
we
it
must have
here?
read it.
Where is it?
I-
Where is he?
I love that you're talking like me.
It's just addictive. It's intoxicating. I don't know what to say.
I know the French are intoxicating. Let's go. Let us go find the Etienne, and then we will know more about that shadowy bitch.
So you are going to go try to find Etienne in the fish market?
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and give you your scarecrow clue. As you're both coming out of the office, Liana, you don't get a good look at them, but someone bumps into you. And when they bump into you, they press into your hands some kind of packaged fish, probably wrapped in white paper. But on the white paper, there is a sequence of numbers. And that is your scarecrow clue, is this it's seemingly random sequence of numbers.
Okay.
So, Liana, I did investigate the body, and Albert, well, he got a mouthful of bills, is what I could say.
Like it was in his pocket?
Down his throat, more like.
Oh no!
I don't know what happened, but it seems like Albert had been confronted with the truth, and it was hard to swallow.
And with that, we're going to cut back over to the other group. Lady Violet, you and David are at the party on the top deck. Allison is chatting with you, and she says, "Well, of course, I do hope you'll be able to attend my next fundraiser. It's going to be quite an affair."
Oh, sure, definitely. This is what I do now. It's all charity and balls,
I can't get enough of it. Nothing makes me feel better about myself than giving money to poor people.
Of course. Quite a party you have. Where are other guests? Or is it just the family?
It seems to be just the family. You see Emily, no sign of Sarah at the moment. David's there. The captain of the yacht is attending the party as well, Captain Curly. And she says, "Well, it's just a small, intimate affair. I thought it might be a little bit in bad taste to have a grand party when, well, we've suffered such a terrible tragedy."
Of course, I completely understand. Thank you for inviting me. I feel really close to the family now that you have invited me in such a close affair,
Well, you did just sort of show up at our boat. We didn't have a lot of choice in the matter.
Yeah, but still, you were very gracious with me, so thank you for that. I
That
would
is a
like,
very good point. I am gracious.
yeah. I would like to check out this yacht, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon.
She's like, have a look around. It's a place recently filled with sorrow and tragedy, but there are still memories of the good times haunting the hallways.
Of course. I can understand the feeling you are feeling right now. Even I felt the same when my husband died, you know. I could have felt the same haunting in the surrounding, but also the memories that we created. Thank you so much for letting me know what you're feeling. And
She's, yeah.
yeah, and I say this and
she-
I just like, yeah.
She says, that's so touching. I'd cry, but I no longer have nerve endings in my tear ducts.
Yeah, I cannot sympathize to that, but still my sympathies.
We'll come back to this. Let's check in with Nandini. Nandini, you are down in this little, like, kind of private art gallery, which is like, kind of, I think it's like one deck below where the party is. And there are statues, there are paintings, there's, music being piped into the room, Beethoven or something, and you see this painting of a woman in a red dress, which of course, probably reminds you of just, for people who watched last time, you'll know that you received a voice answering message, or an answering machine message, basically saying, "Look behind the woman in the red dress." What do you do?
Initially, Nandini paid like no attention to that message. She thought it's like a prank or something young people do these days. And then she thought the lady in the red dress would be an actual person. And so for like 5 seconds after looking at this painting, it didn't even hit her. And after 5 seconds on pause, "Ayyo, this and then she starts walking towards it. And she is, I'm going to say, careless about her surroundings, not looking at, if there's someone else in the room, if someone else is there, any of that, walking straight towards the painting.
And do you lift it off the wall and look behind it?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Gonna try to lift it off. Not gonna check for traps, not gonna check for alarms.
Yeah, I don't think to worry about checking for traps. Go ahead and make the meddling move with, I think it's probably composure. I think that probably makes the most sense here.
Okay.
Yeah, composure.
That is a 4 and a 3, so 7.
A 7.
Plus 0.
I owe you a clue, and there also might be something else of importance there that has nothing to do with the murder. We'll see. 2 things. When you lift the painting off the wall, you see the clue that you're entitled to behind the painting on the actual, like on the, there's like a paper backing behind the canvas. It's there. And that clue is, it's a letter, a love letter, which we can get into the details of that after you have some time to look at it. But it's clearly a love letter with the way it's like, it's in an envelope that's like, stamped decoratively and that kind of thing. It looks like maybe it was a note that was left with the painting or something like that. The more interesting thing, perhaps, is there is a safe behind that painting, a wall safe. The wall safe is actually open. It's not even locked. It's ajar.
It's not
Do you open it up?
manners to open other people's doors and all. Like, but guess we're solving a mystery. Open it.
Inside the safe, it's a space that's not very big. It's like the size of a cupboard.
Oh, okay.
And inside,
Small safe. Okay.
no, it's not like huge. It's like maybe, just I don't know, like thereabouts.
Okay.
But inside, there's just a single object. It looks like a crown made of like willow and driftwood, a twisty crown. And that's probably what this person who was calling you was asking you to look at or look into. What do you do?
I'm gonna... Okay. I'm gonna take it. And I'm going to, with my sari, the extra cloth that is hanging around, I'm going to make like a satchel of short sword and just keep it there hanging next to me.
I owe you a complication for your 7, and I'm going to say that as you're, assuming you put the painting back where it was, as you're doing that, just as you kind of step away from it, you hear a from behind you, and it's Andrew, the butler, and he comes into the art gallery and he says, "Are you lost, madam?"
Yes, I thought you were bringing me my chai.
Right. Yes. I have it here. I was looking for you everywhere.
Of course.
And then he sort of says,
Interesting.
"What are you doing in here?"
Nothing. I was looking at art. Very beautiful. You know, one of my friends is an artist. I should call her here.
I would like for you to make the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail to keep your nerve right now?
Utter embarrassment, and I'm going to get kicked off this place.
It's worse than that. Andrew realizes you have the crown, and you're going to discover, to your great dismay, that Andrew is connected to the broader conspiracy.
Oof. Okay.
Go ahead and roll with composure.
Composure again. Okay. Oh, nice. 6 and 3. So
that's a 9 total. Very good. I'm going to give you a condition based off how you're feeling right now, but you otherwise keep it together. We'll come back to the scene in a moment. Let's check in with Dr. Dakota and Leanna Leaf. So let's take a look at our clues that we have so far. You currently have, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clues. Actually 8, because you have the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have the letter, the love letter, which needs to be defined still. Once Nandini has a chance to read it, I'll tell you more. But so you have quite a lot of clues already, so you may not need to do much more investigating before you get ready to answer this question. That said, do you want to go find Etienne?
We will find Etienne.
I think he finds you. He says, "Ah, there you are.
There you are." Fucking ass.
He comes over and he says, "Is everything okay? You look a little. What happened to the window in my office?"
You know what happened to the... Actually, you have no idea what happened to the window in the office.
I have no idea. What's going on here? What's the matter?
When you left, there was a darkness. There was voices. What are you doing, huh? You think I don't understand the trap when I see a trap? Huh?
He says, "Are you having a stroke right now?"
Are you having a stroke right now? That's the more important question.
I'm a doctor and I can verify that the madam here is not having a stroke. But, sir, you did have a possible murderer in your office.
Well, we should probably call the sheriff.
Well, don't worry about the sheriff. He has he has complete faith in our abilities. Just keep it on the down low, but we used to be his hero growing up. You know, he gave the man this aspiration for his job. Anyhow, we'll take care of things. Do you know anyone that could be looking to kill you? And another question. Why are you so amicable with housing a dead body in your place of business?
Make the meddling move with presence. Let's see how that goes.
That's a 2d6, correct?
2d6, yes.
That's a 7 total.
Okay. He's sort of like... He kind of calms down a little bit. And he says... Listen. Things have been pretty complicated with the Krauses and me over the years. I'm somewhat ashamed to say that I had an affair with Mrs. Kraus.
And you would cuckold the man's dead body in your own house this way?
He says, it's more complicated than that. My affair with Allison ended years ago, but I've maintained my connection with the family because Emily is my daughter.
I see. And so why all the heritage, the property, why it's going to Sarah's children instead?
I can't speak to any of that. I know that that family, like every family, has its complications, has its skeletons in the closet, has all of its bad things, and I guess I'm one such skeleton in their closet. But Allison and I, we had a brief, intense affair back in the day, and she didn't want me involved in Emily's raising, and so I intentionally stepped away from that. But nevertheless, she's my daughter, and I've tried to maintain contact as best I've been able.
What about David?
And the Krauses have been good to me. And so I was happy to help out with Albert's body in their time of need.
Help out, of course, especially if Emily was the one to kill her beloved husband. Did you ever plan? Allison. Did you ever envision maybe taking the yacht with her? Was the yacht a place both of you frequented? Was it a favorite haunt of yours? Is that where you planned to kill her?
He clams up at this point and he says, "Listen, I think I've told you plenty. Now, if you're really worried about something going on here, you should tell the sheriff. But I've said all I have to say." And he kind of like stomps off into the night, leaving you both there. And I think the complication is, as he stomps off, he's grabbing his cell phone and making a call. And Lady Violet Pink, you are there when that call comes in to Allison.
Oh, God.
She says, "Can you excuse me for one moment? I can never get away from this thing." And then she answers it, and she's chatting, and she's like, "All right, I'll take care of it. And then she hangs up. And she says, I'm really sorry, but you and your friend are going to have to leave. I hate to be a terrible hostess, but the situation has got much more complicated. And David kind of throws a fit because you were his guest, but she doesn't care. She's laying down the law. And the captain is going to usher you off the boat. They're going to go looking for Nandini because they don't know where Nandini is.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, let me just find my friend. She sometimes get lost, she doesn't understand these things. I'm gonna find her and we're gonna leave. And I'm gonna look for Nandini with the captain if he's tagging along.
Nandini, you are busy talking your way out of the situation with Andrew. What do you say to Andrew to get him off your case?
Yeah, I was telling him that, I was just roaming around and I found this art place. So my friend is also an artist, so I thought I'll see something and give her inspiration from some art here.
And he says, right. Well, and he kind of like, you can tell he's going to keep his eye on you, and I'm going to give you a condition. Suspicious. But otherwise, you're able to get out with the crown. And that's probably when you run into Captain Curly and Lady Violet. Captain Curly says, there she is. I'm sorry, ma'am, but Mrs. Krause said that all guests have to leave now. And he's going to gather you two up and put you back on the boat you came on and send you away.
The party had just begun.
We've had there's been a change of plans. Something's happened. Something's going on. I don't know exactly what. I just do what I'm told.
Okay, I guess. Why not? I wasn't dressed for it.
And that, I think, as you're kind of like, getting ready to leave, unless David will come up to you, Lady Violet, and he says, I want you to know that even though our relationship this night was brief, that I'm very, very touched by it. I feel like this is a situation that's going to lead to an incredible amount of growth for me. And you should be really happy about that.
Thank you so much. And I would like you to know that I'm really glad that you invited me into this party. And I know even if you are trying really hard to not show your grief, but I would say that showing your grief and letting go of the past helps a lot. And I have something for you. And I take out one of the snuff boxes that I have. And I basically open it and there's some cufflinks inside. I say, this is a gift from my side. You were a great, you were not a host, you invited me, but you are a great partner in the party and I would like you to have it and remember me by. And if you feel any sort of issues and if you feel like you need to talk to someone, just ring me up and I'm just gonna give it to him. And
he takes them. He's like, "Oh, these are great. Are these gold?"
Oh yeah, gold and bejeweled with diamonds. This belong to.
I'm more of a silver man, but that's okay. It's perfectly fine. This is very special to me. Very, very special to me.
You don't need to wear it. It's just a token of, respect that I have for you.
Mm.
You are much better than my own son. So.
Oh my goodness. And I remember your son, so I can confirm that's probably true. Wow. And he goes off, and we'll kind of fast forward a bit. I think now we can probably bring the Mavens back together at this point. It can be that same night, later in the evening. It could be the next morning if you want it to be. But probably at this point, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with 8 clues, and then there's actually 9 because of this letter. The letter it's a love letter written to Albert from someone whose initials you don't recognize, but it's not Allison. But you can, when you get ready to theorize, you can make some adjustments there or say what the initials are if it helps you with your theory. But basically, the painting was a gift, and this is the letter that accompanied the gift.
This is a letter to?
To Albert, the victim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's probably a little later that night. All of us are exhausted, but we come back to Lady Violet's mansion, to our little controlled room of sorts, which is her backyard parlor. And as soon as we enter, can I, while we're going back, both Mrs. Leaf and I, do we notice if anyone's following us?
I'm gonna leave it up to we'll do paint the scene. Everyone, as Liana and Dr. Kure, and maybe even Lady Violet and Nandini after they get back on shore, what do we see in the background that seems to indicate that the Mavens are being watched?
Oh, okay. Can we give it to each other's scenes?
You can do it however you want. Yeah, it's fine.
I'd like to say that when Lady Violet is exiting the ballroom or the party, and she's used to people seeing her arrive or walk in any direction. And at this moment, as she walks through this crowd, no one notices her. No one's looking at her until she reaches the door. And when her back is completely to everyone else, she feels like they've all gone silent and they're all staring at her. But she's too scared to look back and confirm this. With Nandini and yeah, go ahead, Akhil.
I think with like Nandini, like they've all, like when they've stepped out into the pier and they're like walking down the pier, it's usually like filled with like seagulls and like those kinds of birds. But today, of all days, there's an owl that has like almost made eye contact with Nandini. And it's just like slowly watching Nandini walk past, and like it's like, you know that weird thing that owls do where the
head turns all the way.
It's like that. And like we all know birds are not real, so
I still don't know what cult this was. What are these beliefs? Okay, so for Dr. Dakota and Mrs. Lee, I would say it is the Greek statuesque looking figures that were around. Weirdly, as they are walking, everywhere around them they see this white powder that almost looks like it's been chipped off a statue, kind of a thing, like almost like limestone powder. It shouldn't be there, such a thing in a fish market especially, but everywhere they see, they're finding specks of it.
And adding to that, while they're walking down the street, they see the light bulbs suddenly burst the moment they go through that area, and it's all dark, and they are quite scared about it.
Liana's holding on to Dakota's arm, going like, Miss Dakota, please never leave me.
I love it. So I think for the next scene, we will go ahead and theorize. You have 9 clues, which is more than enough to answer the question. And so we'll take a break so that you all can review the clues. and start thinking about who you think did the murder based off what we know. So in this game, I have no, personally as the keeper, I have no idea who did the murder. I have my own theories and thoughts, but it is really up to you all to examine the clues that you have and come up with a theory of the case of who you think did it. When you're doing this, you can add in any context that might be helpful. For example, you can say that these numbers are clearly bank account numbers, or they are the numbers there, or there's something connected to something else, or whatever, right? Or you could like say who you think the letter is from to Albert, that kind of thing. You can add in context to help like flesh out the theory as you need to. And so we'll take like a 10-minute break so that you can start looking at your clues and be thinking about it. And then we'll come back and discuss the theory, and we'll roll some dice to see if you're correct.
Can I do one last thing?
Sure.
One last thing. So, while walking back, getting off the boat and all, I'm just gonna text David that I know you feel someone is really untrustworthy in your family. And who is it? And I'm not expecting an answer. Like, I don't know if he responds to my message or not. But I'm just gonna
Does
text
to David?
him. Yeah.
He might. Maybe. We'll see. Let's take our break.
Okay.
If we're reviewing the clues, you can do it on stream itself, right?
We'll talk about like our theory on stream. But when we get back, I'll run through them again for everybody. So
Yeah, let's take a break.
Okay, everyone. See you in 10. Bye.
Okay. Okay, so we're back, yes?
Yes.
Let's review our clues. So we know from the conversation with the lawyer, Robert Langdon, that Albert changed his will. Robert seemed to think that Albert had cut Sarah out of the will in favor of her 3 children, Albert's grandchildren, Mercedes, Porsche, and Lambo. There were shards from an antique vase on the deck of the yacht. We have the Jade Serpent statue, which was left on the doorstep of Liana. There were receipts inside Albert's mouth and throat related to expensive purchases. Oh, actually, one of these clues, the painting of the woman, that's not actually a clue. The clue is the love letter that was on the back of the painting. The love letter on the back of the painting was actually written to Albert from someone who just put their initials down, and it apparently was given along with the painting as a gift. We saw that whoever threatened Liana in Etienne's office has had a gun that was a small gun, bejeweled, seemingly a woman's gun, that like a small one that might fit in a purse. And then Etienne was having an affair with Allison and believes that he is Emily's father. And so those are your clues that you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I thought we had more than that. The numbers, the sequence of numbers. There was a sequence of numbers that was on a wrapped piece of fish shoved into Liana's hands. And so those are your clues. It sounds like we had a theory that was kind of shaping up a little bit off recording. So who wants to go ahead and say what they think is happening here?
Akab, I believe this was your theory at first.
What?
I think it was your theory at first, so you can
Is it
start.
here? Yeah, okay, cool. So, Liana's like sitting and listening very intently to everybody, like collating information. We've done this multiple times before, but this is like the first time where the stakes are a lot higher. So Liana's like looking. The first thing Liana looks at is the receipts, and she sees the bank account numbers as well, or like what she thinks could be like the bank account numbers.
Oh, the numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she's looking at the receipts and she's thinking like, she looks at Mrs. Violet and she's like, Miss Violet, these are all very expensive looking purchases. Who seems to be like the one who buys a lot of things?
Can I have a look? And I take the receipts and I see a lot of collection related things, like very expensive stuff. And then in one receipt, I see the bank account number that kind of matches the number in the fish. So it seems like they're sort of related. And I see a lot of items that we have seen in the art gallery, the names. And we also see the jade statue is also one of the art collection receipt there.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
And I believe these are the collection that we saw in the art gallery. And even this jade statue, sort of part of that collection. And this bank account number, I'm not sure about it, but seems like this is the number through which all the transactions happen.
Is there any way we could know who's the owner of the bank account?
I believe the art collection belonged to David. He's the collector. He's the one who likes to purchase things.
So Liana starts like her eyes close, and she starts drawing a version of David. And like you can see like an aura of like white around David's photo appear as she's drawing it. This is the first time that she's drawing in front of them. So like she draws like David's thing is clear out. So Liana continues to look, and she look at the letter, and she looks at Nandini. You said that you found this, correct?
Yeah, it was behind the painting. It was behind the painting, and apparently that painting was a gift. So it came with a love letter attached. Very weird how they hung it without even seeing what's on the back. Like something if you get, you'll clean it, no, from every side before putting it on a wall and all. Why would they not remove this?
And what's very interesting also is the fact that this letter does seem to be one of adoration, but the initials it's signed off with, F.U.
Oh, the initials, we have a separate theory. I think you were out when we...
No,
that was you.
I think FU is the right word.
I'm like, fuck you. Fuck the blue.
Maybe it's Fräulein Ursula, I don't know, but it's strange. The receipts, though, they were shoved right down his throat. It would take considerable force to do so. The vast, we could say, and looking from the sort of damage that Albert had incurred, I don't remember seeing any bruising from a vase. So the broken vase on board could be related to something else. But
maybe the struggle.
Yes.
Maybe that was the fact.
His cause
Someone
of death,
might have thrown at him.
His death definitely was from suffocation, from drowning. So either I did not have time to examine his blood and see whether he was tampered with in any way, perhaps a drink before. But now we did find out though that his wife was having an affair. It's strange though that the one that she would be having an affair with would choose to house his body. Why? Now, the inspector didn't find this to be odd at all, but maybe there's something deeper there?
No, of course it is odd because you mentioned that the killer had a decorative handbag gun, which I'm guessing was coming from the mother. And right after that, he called her. So they are definitely...
Can I have a look at the letter again? And I take the letter and I say, although it seems like a love letter, it's very passive aggressive. Seems like someone tried to joke about an affair.
I do agree. This letter, it seems almost like a mockery. Perhaps it was something that was going to be used to frame Albert, divert the attention from Allison. If anyone were to say that she was having the affair, she could show them this and say, no, it was her husband instead. Maybe try to get access to his will in the same way that she has been devoured as his wife for a good many decades, but he has been having affairs behind her back. And
also, you got to know that Emily is not his daughter, right?
Yeah, it is possible that it is Etienne's daughter.
What if this is not a isolated incident? What if he has no children?
Liana starts drawing the entire family onto her painting.
You believe that Allison has tricked Albert all this long and has only been around to take his money?
Is this why he cut off he gave the money in the will to the granddaughters?
But that seems so strange. Why? Like, this seems quite unfair. And, if I were an outside viewer to the situation, I would be inclined to take Allison's side and say that, of course, it's been the most unfair to her. Do you think this is the sort of reaction that she was hoping to get?
See, I have a granddaughter, and I'll tell you, I love my son, but if there was a flamethrower somewhere, I will use my son as a human shield to block my granddaughter.
Jade statue, though, the receipt of it was with the others, but do you think that maybe it has some deeper meaning and she holds the Jade statue? Do you think there's something inside this?
Okay, so here, Keeper, we would like to, if we can.
Mysteries move. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the Amanda Delacourt mystery that is going to help you out here?
The glory of the statue.
Okay.
And in that, remember, Amanda is holding this one statue that she was founding for so long. And then suddenly it slipped out of her hand by mistake and fell and broke. And there was something inside it. What if there is something inside the statue?
The clue is in the statue. Very interesting. Do you smash it open?
I love
it, cool.
So what do you find?
It does seem to be an expensive piece of... Oh, well.
I push.
And it's that anime moment again where she's just like, millions going down as it cracks open. And
it's fine. It's okay. This is just a normal statue for me. Just do it.
I move apart the shards of the statue, and over there is another piece of paper. It seems to be a document of sorts. I open it up and my brow frowns. And I look at the others and say, this is unusual. And I read, at the time of my demise, I would like to hand over all of my belongings, my property, and the rest, whatever I have acquired during my life, to my loving children, Sarah, David, and Emily.
Oh, so he's not cutting out Sarah then.
He's cutting out the wife.
He's cutting out the wife. Oh. So maybe Robert Langdon misunderstood what was going on with the will. Maybe it was actually Allison being cut out of the will. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so now I feel like we're kind of getting somewhere here. So we think that Robert Langdon had it wrong. That it was actually Allison being cut out of the will. Intriguing. And that the Jade Serpent statue actually contains his real will, his actual will, indicating that Allison is to be cut out, presumably because of her affairs. Is that what we're thinking? And I even like the idea of he called Robert Langdon to make sure that the grandchildren at least got something in the will, even though, because like if we're establishing that like none of his kids are his kids, then he might want to like go out of his way to make sure that they're all protected. Like, despite the fact that like Allison did all this stuff and it's unclear whether his kids are his kids. He's basically claiming them and saying, yes, like regardless that I'm going to look after them, I'm going to support them. And I also want to make sure the grandchildren are taken care of. It's a really interesting angle. Is that fair to say what we're kind of arriving at here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I like it. Okay. So I guess then we have to kind of start coming around to why did Allison want to kill him? If it was Allison, or who killed him?
Found out that she has been left out of the will.
Okay, so she's angry from being cut out. Okay, very good.
And the snake that she is, she told all the children that he had cut all the children out of the will. That's why.
Oh, she's the one who. Oh, she's like spreading this lie. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's why Robert Langdon thought what he thought. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Okay.
And what we assume from the handgun that Mrs. Leaf was confronted with, and with the bills that we found down Albert's throat, that maybe Allison, even though she was the mastermind behind this, was in the hand that dealt
the final blow. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, and she couldn't have been in the fish market either, right? Because she was on the boat at the time that person was in the fish market threatening Liana. So,
and we know.
Sorry, continue.
And we know that Sarah was not in the party.
That's true. She was not. Yep.
And we know that David is the one who is collecting the art, and he might know about the vase and the receipts. And Emily might have been, the youngest one who might have been brainwashed the most, because she might have known, or we are just theorizing it.
It's possible Etienne could have also influenced a lot of Emily in wanting to go back into Allison's graces and something like that.
Emily was just
this is
brainwashed
really
by,
interesting.
The mother telling her that this is not actually your father at all. Why do you care? Kill him.
Why do you care?
So if
he's cut you off the will, might as well.
This is coming together. This is really interesting. So it seems like what you're suggesting is that Allison, realizing she'd been cut out of the will, is trying to turn the tables on Albert. She plants this fake letter that makes it seem like Albert was having an affair. And then she tries to convince her kids, and indeed the lawyer apparently, that Albert intends to cut the kids out of the will, and that if we can kind of like strike back and show that he was an unfaithful husband, to me, then that would be like a good grounds for them contesting the will, right? Essentially, right? And so that's really fascinating. That accounts for, so it's really intriguing. And it sounds like in that case that the receipts and the it seems like the receipts then is almost like basically kind of like a weird sort of like why would they put the receipts down his throat? I'm trying to figure that out. Like, what would be the purpose
basically a metaphor. David is like, you're not giving us the money,
so eat your money.
And then
eat your money.
So they're just like really vindictive and mean. That's really interesting.
The way that we envisioned this going down, and to paint a picture, as Mrs. Leaf would say, is you have Allison realizing that Albert has, Allison comes down for their yearly visit to Brindlewood Bay. They come down here every summer to spend their time, and she looks forward to it because she's reunited with one of the fathers of her children. Yeah. She comes there, and while she sneaks off to meet the dashing fisherman, Albert happens to find out that his wife always seems to want to visit the fish market each time they come down here. Finds out about their affair and threatens to strike her out of his will. She starts to devise a plan. She writes a fake letter in a prettier hand, sends it to Albert, but it's something he hasn't even seen yet. Hides it away in his room so that if anyone else were to go snooping around, they could find this hidden note. She goes and talks to her kids, tells Emily the truth about her father, while also rallying her to her side, saying that if all of us were to stand together, at least we can continue to have the lifestyle that we are owed, that we've been raised with, that I've raised you with. We don't need your father. Gets Emily to talk to Sarah and David as well. Shows receipts of purchases which are perhaps under Albert's card number, but she's been using his card all the time, all along, making these purchases. Shows these to David and says that, oh, remember the times that you used this card? Your father is going to use it to claim bankruptcy on you. Say that you have tried spending my money, and that's why you don't deserve to be in this will.
Oh, very good. Yeah, it's good. Okay, that accounts for the sequence of numbers too. Okay, good. Love that. And so then someone, it's almost immaterial who does it, but someone, I mean, did they use the vase to smash over his head then and knock him overboard? Is that what we're thinking?
I would like to say that since there were no signs of any brute impact, blunt impact trauma, anything like that, I would like to add that she poisoned a drink with her python venom.
Oh, interesting.
And in that, while this guy, Albert, was running out of control, he smashed the vase, which was not cleaned properly later.
So the thing I think is really interesting about this, which we don't have to account for in the theory, but it would definitely be interesting if we were going to keep playing a campaign of this, is the real big question, like the viewers of our TV show, what they would want to know is who put that jade statue on your doorstep with the actual will in it, right? And that's where the conspiracy might kind of all get, or whatever's going on in the background would get kind of wrapped in. To say nothing of this crown situation and all that stuff, but it's really interesting. So you've accounted for every clue. It's really intriguing. And so we're saying that Sarah is the one who is threatening Leanna then at the office. Okay. So essentially it was Allison as the mastermind, but all the kids played a role.
Unwittingly.
I think they did it for the wrong reason, but they still did it.
That's why they were indifferent to their father's passing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're just kind of horrible people as a general matter, but. So you've got 8 clues here. So basically the way the die roll works, we'll read the move. It says, where are we at? Theorize. When the Mavens have an open discussion about the solution to a mystery based on the clues they've encountered and reach a consensus, you roll plus the number of clues incorporated into the theory, so 8, minus the complexity, so minus 6, which leaves you at plus 2. So this is a roll for the whole group. One person rolls, but it's going to be 2d6 plus 2. Who wants to take the roll to see if you're correct?
Do you want to do one die? With one.
Yeah.
1 and 1, that works. Who's going to do the other one?
Who's going to do the second one?
I feel like because we're in Violet's house, she deserves.
We'll do
And Kuro, you also did this way. You get the third.
Pura, you should do it. You explained it so well.
Yeah.
No. I feel like my rolls are bad though. Okay, how about go for it, Kush. You did the first one.
5.
5?
That's good. Yeah.
5?
Okay, 10.
12. There you go. All right. On a 10 plus, it's the correct solution. I will present an opportunity to take down the culprit or otherwise save the day. On a 12 plus, a person involved in the dark conspiracy of Brindlewood Bay also reveals themselves to the Mavens. So here's how we're going to handle the resolution of the mystery. Since you got such a good roll, basically we're going to handle this in montage, going one by one with each of you adding to it. We're going to narrate the scene where you bring the killers to justice here, however you go about doing that, whether it's telling the authorities or confronting them or whatever you want to do. So we'll start with Dr. Dakota. What is how does this scene kick off, bringing Allison and her conspirators to justice?
Oh, I think honestly, it first starts off by picking up the phone, dialing the number of the local police station, ringing up that inspector and saying, "Hello, sir. I think we might have the name of the murderer for you." And
Nice.
calling him over for tea.
Fantastic. All right, keep the scene going. Mon, what happens next?
You see, in the parlor room, again, this guy is invited. Although I don't allow men in my parlor, but it's very urgent that you should be here. And she calls him in, she made him sit down, and you see the table in front of him is like everything is there, all the clues that we have collected are there. And then I sit in front of him, and everyone is like sitting, and we start talking about all the clues, and we give him our theory about each of the clue one by one.
Nice. Okay, Kush, keep it going.
As one by one each clue is being handed out, it's all coming together, but it's not really binding very well. So one final clue, that was the final will that was revealed. Dramatically, Nandini slams it on. Like, this will solve the last piece of the puzzle.
Amazing.
All right, and go ahead and finish it off, Akko.
So Liana hasn't really been contributing much to the talking. She's just been constantly painting throughout. So as every time everyone puts out a clue, there's a painting. There's another painting, another painting, another painting, another painting, another painting, another painting. And finally, when Nandini crashes it right in the middle, a bit of Shikakai gets into the middle. And like you can see like the liquid like sort of like formed within all these canvases. And you see the picture of the family. There's a boat. All the children are right almost like a semicircle looking down at the father's body like drowning, and in the back, and there are like bright white light around them. You can see like the stars and all aligning slowly, and like the final thing right in the back, you can see a lady holding on to like this wine glass almost. It's pure red, and the aura that is coming out of Allison is like this deep, dark, like almost inky black, and it's almost as if we painted the whole scene for the.
And I'm going to reveal the broader conspiracy in this way. After you tell Sheriff Dalrymple what's going on, and he's frustrated because he told you not to solve the mystery, but you did. He kind of stands up and he says, "Well, my only question is, who gave you that jade statue with the real will in it? It's almost like they wanted you to figure this out. Like it's part of some bigger plan. Something that we just can't quite see yet." And as the camera pans up, we see that all of the paintings, when laid down, as you zoom out, they make a mosaic in the form that looks like Etienne's face. And that's what we see as the camera's kind of zooming away. Liana inadvertently, the cosmos revealing something to Liana. And of course, the perpetrators will be arrested. The murder mavens save the day. Peace and safety are brought back to your community for the time being.
Yeah.
Let's go to the end of session. Let's answer our end of session questions. Okay, so let's take a look at our questions here. Everybody gets credit for the first question, which is, did you solve the mystery? Yes, you did. Leanna, did you behave like a woman half your age?
I mean, not as much as last time.
Did you share a memory of a late family member?
No, I didn't.
Kure, did you secretly undermine the authority of a local official?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I would say so. Did you share a memory of a late family member?
No, I did not.
Violet, did you share a memory of a late family member?
I guess in the starting, I was talking about my husband and the flower.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And you also shared your wisdom with a young person. You did both of yours.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nandini, did you show someone that you've, quote, still got it?
Oh, not in this session again.
Did you share a memory of a late family member?
No, I did not.
All right, so everybody can transfer their mark boxes down to their XP track. And that's it. That's the end of the session.
I had one cozy moment I had to. I think there's a moment that I had to talk about. One that I look back to that kind of is. I've forgotten what the question was. Sorry, it was like something that I do in my downtime that the others don't.
Oh yeah. A scene in the present day showing a private side of you very few get to see. Oh, I thought we haven't done that yet. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. What is it?
So it's mostly going to be. I'm going to be thinking about like Timmy. After this mystery is solved, and there's just still something that's bothering me. It's mostly the sheriff's question that who placed that statue there, but you see me walking down Brindlewood Bay's roads, and the others are still at Lady Violet's parlor. But as I walk down, I take a turn and go down to the local grocery store of sorts. And I take out my gambling winnings and buy a couple of groceries, leave behind a poster of the shikakai in the supermarket, and then head down towards the orphanage, as I usually do, but the others don't really know about. I go there, and there's like a bunch of kids that come running up. Some of them have like bandages all over them, and we're discussing the couple of like fights they got into. I'm telling them a few moves they can get to, get like an upper hand on the seniors. And as I sit there and give them this meal like I do after a week of gambling, I sit and think about Timmy, and I tell all of them, there's this young chap that ever comes by here and is looking for shelter or perhaps a meal. His name's Timmy. Be nice to him. And that's the last thing I think about as I kind of look into the distance.
I love it. Why don't we go ahead and have like a little, just a little epilogue scene for everybody, actually. I thought that was really good for Dr. Kure. If everybody wants to just, since we're just doing a 2-shot, if everyone wants to just do a little epilogue showing their character at the end of the story, that'd be great.
For Liana, after the mystery was over, her throughout the time that she was painting in front of these guys, her eyes, if you had noticed, was burning like white almost. And she now sits in front of this mirror, the sun mirror, and she's looking, and she sees like almost all of her past slowly like playing in front of her. And she opens the book that she has of Sam, the book of Sam, and she slowly starts going through the pages. She stops at one page, and it says Persephone on the page. And she thinks about it, and she's like, strange. Why is that burning so bright? I wonder.
Very good.
Okay, so you see the day after, like the day when we revealed all the secrets and we theorized and told the police what we came up to, we presented the evidence, and eventually the sheriff is talking to the three of them while I just stood up and go back to a corner and check my phone. And I don't know if David texted me back or not. I do see there is a text. I read it and then I close my phone. And then eventually after a while, I kind of sitting in my garden and I open my phone again and read the text again. And he have written the text that, you know, sons and father have a very complicated relationship. You might know. And then I close my phone again. This is my scene.
Nice.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nandini. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, after this whole ordeal, Nandini goes home. She is quite fit for her age, but she's still old. She gets tired and she is extremely exhausted at this point. She goes and takes a seat at her sofa, and on her table in front of her, there is a photo album. A photo album of the last role that her husband Malik used. And she goes through it, and it's all nonsensical photos. Photos of a corner of a room, or a lamp post where the lamp post is just like partially there in frame. Things like that. But as she is going past this, she sees a photo of a wooden twisted crown. That's what she remembers. She goes over to her little pouch that she had made with her sari, takes it out, holds it in front of her, contemplates for about 2-3 minutes. Her hands start to raise. The camera zooms in as it's getting closer to her. The camera keeps zooming in as it's getting closer. The moment it touches her head, cut to black.
Nice. I love it. And you would have gotten an extra XP for doing your Jim Rockford move as well. So at the end, you all Violet was very close to advancing, just needed one more. Nandini needed 2 more, so did Kure, and Liana needed 3 more. And then if you'd advance, you would then pick one of the advancements from below the track there, increase an ability modifier, choose a new move, etc. Probably, if we were like to keep playing, we would do the cozy move, which is how you can clear conditions, where we get to see your characters usually in the day kind of doing their hobbies, you know, and kind of unburdening on each other in order to clear conditions. And then the very next session, we would introduce a brand new mystery, and we would get going on that mystery. I went a little heavy on the supernatural stuff because this is a 2-shot. I probably would have, if this was a campaign, it would have ramped up a little more slowly. But since it's a 2-shot, I wanted to give you all the full experience as far as the flavor of it goes. But yeah, that's Brindlewood Bay. We can just do a quick stars and wishes if you all want, just to kind of talk about our experiences with the game and things you liked. But I'll start, since you all did so much role playing today. I'll start and say I had a really great time. I really like these characters. Even though we only had 2 sessions with them, I feel like I know them really well, and I have a really good handle on what each of their deals is and how they handle problems. I really liked how Akab, I really liked how you incorporated those like former cultist elements into Liana. That was a lot of fun. And also just the sort of like weird, like, I don't know, like kind of, there's a lot of weirdness that you kind of worked into things. And I really like that. And I had fun playing off of that, especially at the end with the paintings and stuff. That was really a lot of fun. And then but all the characters had such good like characterizations, the sort of like the con artist doctor, loads of fun. I really enjoyed Lady Violet Pink. I could watch Lady Violet Pink and Alison Krauss have scenes all day. Like, it was a really fun scene. And for Nandini, for Kush, I really liked how you like you brought the story back to your missing husband. I think that was really important for that character. And if this is going to be a continuing campaign, I would love to see how that would work out. So just lots of good like little like callbacks and stuff, and the characterizations are really good. And I've run Dad Overboard, oh my god, probably like 50 times or something. I've run it so many times, and I always get a different story. We always get a different solution, and that's kind of the fun of this, is you never know how it's going to turn out, even if you run it a bunch. And this was a really unique session, or unique instance of it, because the characters were they were really unique and different from what we normally get. So I had a good time. Yeah, so stars all around.
I loved how you take something we do and then just build on it. You do it so well. It's a treat to look at, and I'm so jealous. It's just
I think so many wishes, wishes in terms of like, oh my god, I want to keep playing. It's been so much fun, and I know we solved one mystery, and I think it's just been constantly fun knowing that I think all of us have to be active in each scene and be attentive of what's happening and be able to contribute at each moment. And I think it was just like a lot of fun to just see everybody's starkly different personalities treat each situation in a different way and really build on it. Oh god, it's just a lot of fun playing this.
Star for me was the theorizing session, guys. I wish we had done the theorizing live, because it was basically this happened and then this happened. Oh my god! Are you muted, Jason?
Sorry, Jason, you muted.
You muted, yeah.
Yeah. I think we probably should have just kept the stream going, because when I came back from the break, I was like, oh, they're really like in it right now. They're really like figuring this out. And I thought we were gonna like wait until we were back on stream, but I'm glad you're all excited to get to dive in there. But it was a good theorize.
That was so much fun to do, and I like the fact that every character here has now become my favorite character. For Nandini, it was very interesting to see how you incorporated something that is very Western in like the setting, but you still brought in like a good mix for your character, for Nandini, and I think she still fit very well in with the mystery. She didn't feel like out of place. Yeah. You know what I mean? Doctor, you are straight up just a detective, like MacGyver detective, which I love. It's my favorite thing now. Like, I just want you to solve stuff and be like, do you want me to cheat you also? Violet, and I when I was watching the scene with Allison and Violet, I was just thinking, this is Schitt's Creek on crack. It's like so heavy, and like I was like, Moira, is that you? And Jason, I don't know what to tell you. Like everything that you do of like elevating the scene, making the mechanics so like interesting to set up, I was like, this is great. I was having so much fun. Yeah. For me myself, I want to play Liana forever now. Like, I want to just keep playing.
Yeah, I want to find my husband now.
Yeah, so for me, like, kudos to you. You are amazing storyteller. At the starting, like at the beginning of this whole session, I was a little scared about the fact that how will we paint the scene or how will we theorize the murderer. But eventually, the more you helped us build on to what we are thinking, and it got to this such an amazing theory of who killed. Yeah, it was like the help, the scaffolding was amazing. And all of you, like I play with you all the time, like the D&D and like now Brindlewood Bay, like all the time you all were amazing again with the role playing especially. And I really loved playing Violet, although I was not as sassy as the Downton Abbey Violet, which I was basically trying to achieve. But still, like, I enjoyed playing Violet a lot. A sassy old rich woman who is trying her best to solve a mystery. So it was like amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you to everybody who is watching us as well, and shout out to Shweta for like connecting us, like getting it, like Twitter now X, great way for like meeting people. It's been lovely meeting you, Jason, and oh my god, I'm so excited for I placed my order for one of the copies of Brindlewood Bay and for a set of dice, and I can't wait for the set of D6s to come in. I'm just obsessed. But also thank you, Mon, for putting in so much effort with the art. Kush as well for like giving so many versions of it. It's just really heightened the experience of showing the duality of like Brindlewood Bay, and oh god, it's vivid. There's just so much that's happened in just 2 sessions of barely about 5 hours. But thank you everybody for joining us. Any last words from anyone?
Jason?
Thank you for having me. This was really lovely, and I really enjoyed getting to play with you all and to meet you, and it was great. Thanks.
It was, yeah.
And thank you everyone. That was TPK Thursday. We will see you maybe this weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you.